Man, I am rinsing these cyberpunk clips. Anyway, oh my god, well, that was a lot. It was stuck in my throat. I'm not gonna cut that out. You'll just get to listen to a bit of quietness followed by me coughing. So, one of my favorite shows, one of my favorite media, in fact, it's called When Life Gives You Tangerines. Now, you might be thinking, oh, this is an English-speaking gentleman. He must watch plenty of Hollywood, plenty of American, which I do. You know, movies, a lot of shows too. Phone buzzing, a lot of phones too. What did I say? A lot of phones. No, um, a lot of movies, a lot of shows too. The last one, I think, I started watching Snowfall, but I didn't get to finishing it. I forgot why. I think I got busy. Anyway, one I watched, like I said, is When Life Gives You Tangerines, which is one of my favorite ever shows. It's a K-drama. Now, you might be thinking, why? Well, it's the first ever one I watched. I forgot the reason I watched it. Was either my friend was watching it or I saw a family member watching it and I got quite captivated and I was bored. So, and I had nothing better to do. I think I watched it near the start of 2025. Yeah. I think it's, that little period in uni where like you're coming up to exams but the lectures are slowing down, so you got a lot of time. I watched it around that. Started watching it around then. I think I finished it after exams. You might be thinking, why is it one of my favourite ever shows? Realised I've cut the thing wrong. Well, probably me rewatching this. The reason, the reason it's one of my favourite shows is number one, the emotion. Might sound cliche, but that show for me hit me very inside. I don't know what, and I'm joking. I do know why. I do know why. You could say the musical scores were part of the reason, but they weren't. Sure, they add a bit of this and that to it. The plot was definitely it, but there's a part of the show that I felt related to me very much in real life. You know, I think at that point it was quite close to when I'd lost someone, and the circumstances were also similar. So, watching that, it was like, wow, yeah, that kind of thing. But I think one of the reasons that I watch shows is it gives you that sense of escapism, where maybe things aren't that similar to real life. But the reason I watch certain K dramas is because it's some of it is so unreal that it helps you. It kind of fills in what you're lacking in real life fun. You enjoy that because some of it just has you giggling and shit. And that's why I like some of them. But when Life Gives You Tangerines, I felt there was parts of it that kind of hit home a bit more. Not that you know, not that I, I grew up in what they did, but I'm saying there's parts of it that you can relate to, just based on, people people that you did know. So that's one of the things I'd say, the emotional aspect of it. Number two was, I'd say, the story was just really touching overall. Just when you kind of detach from it and you just look at just the story, like everyone's a sucker for a good story. Everyone enjoys a really good story. Everyone likes hearing one or watching one. And you're lying if you say you don't. You want a good story. You want something that feels good or makes you feel something from start to end. From start to end, sorry. And that's what When Life Gives You Tangerines did for me. When I started it, I thought it was great. I thought it was paced good, and I thought the way they resolved certain plot points and how the story kind of went on was all very smooth, and it was almost close to perfect with how it started and how it ended, and just how it kind of incorporated like certain cultural stuff about like seasons and how life kind of blends in with the seasons, and you can kind of see that in real life when sometimes you're doing better, sometimes you're not. The next one I'd say is I liked how much attention it took. See, when I told someone to watch it, they were like, "Oh, it was good, but somewhere around the middle it started dragging." No, it didn't. You TikTok brain cunt. It didn't start dragging. It was perfectly paced. It didn't drag at all. I think what they wanted was like, they're like, is it Gilmore Girls or Gossip? I think it's Gossip Girls, because they're a Gossip Girls fan. They keep watching Gossip Girls. They wanted that kind of thingy, but it just wasn't gonna go that route, was it? Because it's very grounded in why it is. You can tell I'm not a reviewer because I'm just talking about. I like this because it make me feel good. That's what it did. At times the show made me feel good, and because I don't speak the language, I don't use my phone at all, and I was just locked in the whole time. Sometimes it made you feel good, sometimes it made you feel sad. It made you feel a whole wide range of emotions, and from start to finish, you're feeling something. Every episode is like, wow, that was really good. Can't wait for the next one. I didn't feel bored once. I didn't feel like picking up my phone, which is rare for me. So that's what I really enjoyed. That being said, even though I did say it's really grounded, there was one part in it, right, where I think this is a trope that's just common there. So she's getting, sorry, not she. So he's going off to the mainland because the a lot of the show is based on, well, a lot of the start of like the younger days is based on Jeju Island, and it's in like the 60s, I think. So he's going to the mainland to become an athlete, and she's getting married off to a slightly older guy, and then she's like, nah, you know what, fuck this, and then she runs, like they had a little argument about it before and all of that, and then she runs to the dock, and the boat is so far out, it's like, it's small, like it looks small, like really far out, and she starts crying and calling his name, and then I think someone drops like a pin or something, and the pin directs the sound into his ear, and he hears it somehow from that far out on a boat in the middle of the in the water between Jeju Island and Korea. So he somehow hears that, and then he follows it up with diving headfirst into the open ocean, and he swims in record time. I know it's supposed to be an athlete at that point. He swims with record speed through that ocean, beating all the waves, and just gets there, and they hug and have the moment. And I was just sat there like, oh my god. That was one of the points. You just have to kind of suspend your disbelief, obviously, but that was one of the points I was like, oh, alright. But other than that, it was great. I know they had to do it for plot, but it's just like you couldn't find a better way to do it. You couldn't have the boat closer, not have the boat sail off, but whatever. Yeah, I always tell people to watch it whenever it's acceptable, because if people find out you're watching K-dramas, they'll call you gay. Most people know I do. Like my cousin recently, who did say that he started watching I think, what's it called, Bloodhounds. So it depends on what you're watching. But yeah, one of my favourite shows ever, just because of how it felt, how I think at the point I was in my life with like people I know, there was a lot of it where it's like, whoa, that's super similar. So I'd say maybe for a lot of people it might not hit the same, but I know it does, because when I told one of my other friends to watch it, he loved it exactly the same as I did, and he said it's probably a 10 out of 10, and then he recommended me a new show that he claims is 12 out of 10. I am enjoying it. It is pretty close to 12 out of 10. Probably not better than When Life Gives You Tangerines. When Life Gives You Tangerines is probably 13. But yeah, good. And that's about it. Um, Nothing more to say about that. That's like the most incoherent. Whenever I yap about something I like, it becomes so incoherent. Just I start saying all this random stuff. I start going off on all these random tangents. That's what it's like talking to me in real life. Like what I'm doing now, I'm going off on a tangent. Whenever I'm talking to people in real life, I just, you know, if they don't, if we're having a conversation and they give me the room to talk about something, I'll talk about that thing until you stop me. And that's what's going on right here. The only thing that's going to stop me is the second my finger presses the left mouse button right now. And 3, 2, 1.